Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bears Den podcast number 53. I am your host, Andy, and tonight we're going to talk about all things Chicago Bears. We're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills, the state of the roster. And if you're watching us, please show us some love. Follow us, subscribe to us, tell all your friends and family all about us. You can find us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Now let me bring out the stars of the show, the guys you pay to see. We're joined by Arthur tonight. Welcome to the team. The superstar of the show, Todd. And last but not least, he shouldn't need an introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway, the bad guy, Chicago Clarence. So everybody, how are you doing? How are we feeling after what we saw Sunday night? Good, bad, happy? Anybody?
Pretty happy.
Speechless? Everybody speechless?
I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm feeling pretty good as well, my friend. So, Arthur, I'll kick it off to you. So, man, welcome to the team. Welcome to the show. You were our top commentator last week. So, let's start off simple. Why do you love the Chicago Bears? Why are you a fan?
Well, because I'm from Chicago, number one. Always a diehard Bears fan. But I'm probably the youngest out of the group, 27. So,
I'm jealous already.
Just by a little.
Yeah.
So Earl Lacker was one of my favorite players I used to love to watch. I love the linebacker position. Earl Lacker and Devin Hester. 2006, I remember when the Bears went to the Super Bowl. And then ever since on, that's history,
I remember that year. That was a very good year. That's a game we could have won if we wanted to started Grossman or put Cedric Benson in, kept handing that rock to Thomas Jones.
Yeah.
I remember that one well. I can get Clarence fired up if I talk about that Super Bowl.
And nothing beat that opening, though. Devin Hester running that.
That's when you knew that kid was going to be special.
Yep.
So, Arthur, let me start with you. Does this look like a Chicago Bears offense? We put up 38 points, 31 first downs. We ran 83 offensive plays, 528 yards, 39 minutes of total possession. We were 9 of 16 on third down. Now, let's get it out the way. We know this is preseason. We know this is against second and third stringers. That's what all the haters are going to say. So let's get that out of the way. But this is not normal for Chicago Bears football. I don't care if it's pre, post season. I don't care. Normal season, this is not normal. So, Arthur, what do you think of what you saw Sunday night?
That offense is not a original Bears offense. I'll tell you that.
No.
I mean, that offense was different. That offense was smooth. And I don't care about it being preseason or not. I mean, we saw a glimpse of what the Bears are becoming and what the future is definitely going to be looking like. So that was a different offense. I like how smooth it was, how everything was just even a couple snaps that Caleb had. I think that offense was top notch.
So, Chicago Clarence, I'm going to let you go next because you actually texted me and Todd. I've never heard you use this phrase. Guys, I got goosebumps. What gave you goosebumps the most?
Well, you've been watching football as long as I have and as long as you guys have, and you've been watching this team play for a while, you tend to see things. And then when you look at this team and what we were watching the other night, you saw things differently. You had to. We have never seen a head coach on the sidelines knowing how to call plays. And when I say that, I'm not talking about just drawing plays up, but drawing plays up that made sense, attacking the other defense, scheming guys open. He attacked and he ran, he called plays with a purpose. And that's what I like seeing. Then when you start to look at how Caleb Williams was getting the ball out of his hands, he knew his reads. Yes. He was looking at his reads. He was moving plays or changing plays that fit. I was excited to see that. I was excited to see us convert third downs. Normally, if we had third down and over 7, that was a death sentence. We knew we were going back to sit back down because we weren't getting the first down. We were picking up big chunk plays. Do you know that we was only 3 teams worse than us on third down? I mean, on explosive plays last year? and that what you call explosive plays over 20 yards. There are only 3 teams out of the 32 was worse than us.
Yeah.
So when you start looking at that and start seeing how explosive, albeit against pedestrian defense,
Yes.
it was exciting to see a quarterback operate with precision, cleaning up the pre-snap penalties, which was issues that we have had through whole training camp. To see that, to see a head coach on the sideline that seemed to look like he knew what he was doing, knew what his purpose was going to be, that was exciting. That's what gave me goosebumps because we have been watching ineptitude for 20 plus years.
Yeah, we have. Todd, what did you think of what you saw Sunday night?
Yeah, Clarence said a term that I've been hearing for the last couple of years, but never knew what it. I mean, I knew what it was, but I've never seen us do it. A chunk play. What
Yes.
Name me it. I guess that little flip play to Swift there that just came out of nowhere. That might have been the only chunk play I remember from last season. So yeah, it seemed easy, right? It just seemed like guys were open that we used to could never get guys open. It was funny reason why can't we get open? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? And yeah, and Caleb looked confident. The whole thing. And we didn't play all of our stars. We had some offensive linemen in there but still we played more than they did. So, but we dominated that entire. I don't care. Those guys are all fighting for jobs. Those are guys that are trying to make a team. They're doing the best they can do. And we just, I mean, and not just we're talking about the offense because that's what's different. But the defense played pretty great too. I mean, it was 3 and out after 3 and out after 3 and out with those guys, and it was Mike White at quarterback, and then Mitch looked as accurate as ever in the second half. But that's a good team. I don't care. Their second and third teams should be quality players. That's a good football team, and we just completely dominated them.
I mean, that team has Super Bowl aspirations.
Right.
I mean, if Josh Allen would have played, it would have been game on for sure.
Probably wouldn't have been a shutout, but
no, it would have been game on. So, Arthur, what do you? I mean, do you think Ben Johnson? He kept his foot on their neck. Like I think that reflects his personality. He did not let up on the Buffalo Bills at all. I mean, he hung 38 on them, then he tried to keep the shutout on them. I mean, are you sold on Ben Johnson? Are you drinking the Kool-Aid? Or you just want to wait and see till regular season?
Man, I have been pushing that cup away a little bit. I have been. But after seeing that preseason game, I got to say I took a little sip. The way Ben Johnson is just carrying the team, the way how focused he is. I mean, it's been a while since, Lovie Smith, since we actually had like a coach that's focused. All these other coaches seem like they were playing coach. Like this coach means business. As soon as he step on the field, he's focused. And not only just Ben Johnson, all the coaches following behind him.
Yeah.
You see Eric Bieniemy out there. They showing him he's laser focused. He's the running back coach. Like everybody is laser focused and trying to bring this Bears team together. So hey, to answer that question, I took a sip. And I'll probably go take a couple more.
Chicago Clarence, are you drinking the Kool-Aid yet? Or are you going to wait and see?
No, we got to win games.
Yeah.
Am I excited? Am I excited about what I'm seeing and some of the stuff of what I'm hearing? I guess, but my mother told me a long time ago, believe nothing you hear, half of what you see, and all you know. What do we know about Ben Johnson right now? Not a whole lot. At the end of the day, what happens when the lights are on? What happens when the real bullets are flying? What happens when you got to make tough, quick decisions? When you don't have time to be on your playbook and paying attention to the next play? When you got to challenge a spot or you got to challenge a fumble? Those are the things that I want to see. The one thing that gives me encouragement is it seems like they are not tolerating the things that has plagued this team all along. And that's the small things, the little things, attention to detail. We have always sucked at that. And I want to see the competency on the sideline. We definitely was missing that the few years when we had, Eberflus. That dude was an idiot. So I want to see game day. And then I'll start drinking the Kool-Aid.
That's what I wanted to see. I was hoping the game would be close and Ben Johnson would have to make some tough decisions. Todd, are you drinking the Kool-Aid yet?
I've been drinking the Kool-Aid for weeks. Told you guys. The look, you know, when a going price for a coach is $5 million, and you know, back in the day, and we tried to find one for $2, right? You know, because that was the way it was.
Yes.
Or yeah, you can be the coach, but you know, don't say a dirty word. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't embarrass the family. All that stuff's out. It seems to be out the window, and I don't know if that's directly from Virginia or just how bad it got last year or what. But you know, I look at Eric Bieniemy as an assistant coach. You ain't gonna tell that guy. You're gonna tell that guy to watch his mouth. Is that what you're gonna do? Because he's gonna walk out the door. So I mean, it's just no more bullshit. It really is, and it just seems like it's been that way. I guess probably since Lovey, or you know, maybe even back to Ditka, but you know, it's just been all these coaches that I'll take this money, and you know, we'll be mediocre, and I'll do what the family wants, and then I can go retire, whether it's Fox or any of these guys, you know, all the way down the line. Nagy, he would sign on a deal for that because you know he wasn't ready for the job. I feel like this guy's ready for the job, and I feel like he really brought in a good staff. And that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's quality coaches down the line. Yeah,
it is. I mean, did anybody realize Al Howard called the defense second half? Like, I couldn't tell a difference. Mm-hmm. And Declan ran the offense in the second half. I couldn't tell a difference.
Yeah, I didn't even tell. I was surprised that he was calling, honestly.
So, Arthur, what do you think is Zacchaeus? Like, I think most of us thought when we drafted Luther Burton, he would be an afterthought. I think he might be the best receiver on this team. Like, I really, really like this kid a lot. And he's got that number 3 spot, and he's not going to give it to Luther the way it's looking. What do you think of Zacchaeus and what you saw out of him?
Man, I think Zacchaeus is going to be a real key player for us for sure. And it's definitely a tough battle between Bird and Zacchaeus, but I think Ben Johnson has a lot to work with both of them. I think Burden is definitely good at, you know, he's definitely going to be that key for blocking for sure. And of course, other things. I mean, he's a weapon for sure.
Yes.
You know, but I think Zacchaeus is definitely going to be our slot receiver. And I see him playing a lot of slot for sure.
Chicago, Clarence, what do you think of our wide receiver group?
I think that they're going to be nasty. I was very encouraged by how I saw Zacchaeus and Burton handle themselves. And no matter which one of those guys you get in the slot, it's going to be a problem. You know, the team is better get ready. You're going to see DJ Moore in the backfield. He's going to be getting the ball out of the backfield. And you ain't even going to know where that guy lines up. And you ain't going to know how they're going to attack it. They're going to attack you in so many different ways. So we've been seeing a little bit of that. They've been talking about that a lot in practice. I'm very encouraged by what I see out of the wide receiver room. You know, and if I just had to be nitpicky, I mean, you know, I don't want to see the drops when the ball is put right in your hands. I know we had a drive that got stalled, you know, because the Doomsday dropped the ball that was right in his hands. You know, we got to cut that stuff out. That happened a lot last year, you know.
Yeah.
So those are drive killers. Penalties and drop passes is drive killers. But and we really didn't see our run game in full form as well. And, you know, your passing game plays off your run game, especially in Ben Johnson's offense because he runs so much play action. So I like what I see out of the wide receiver room. I really and truly do.
So, Todd, since you're a roster guy, you're already cutting and moving people around. Who are you keeping? I mean, the first 4 is pretty obvious. Moore,
for wide receiver,
and Burton. Like the 5th and 6th. I mean, Tyler Scott, we thought he was going to be left for dead. He played a pretty good game.
He really did.
Doesn't Borkin play? Doesn't he play special teams?
He does.
A little bit.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean,
he does.
Samori played. And it seems like Ben Johnson likes Maurice Alexander. He wanted to sign him and brought him with from Detroit. I mean, which 2 are you keeping after our top 4?
Right now,
Yeah.
I think I don't know. It's been different. I like Johnny Walker. He was really good in the first game. He's got a
do
chance to
too.
develop. I mean, we're to the point where there's probably guys that we put on the practice squad that might get poached.
Yes.
And that's a problem we have in that we were always the team trying to poach, or at least the last 2 or 3 seasons trying to poach, somebody that just get, and we've got guys that are right there. But Boykin, he's in Duvernay, depending on his injury. Duvernay is a special teams guy, so I think he's probably 5. The 6 is up for grabs, and I thought, Tyler Scott I thought was left for dead, and he one game. I probably would still cut him. Richardson was a favorite early in camp, but he hasn't shown much in these games. So I like Walker. But it could be anybody. Just we don't get access to the practices, obviously, but Tyler Scott made it interesting. But and also that tight end room. I mean, Joe Wilson caught 4 passes in that game. It looks like he could be a receiver too. So, I mean, I don't know. We probably need a more traditional tight. We probably were talking about that later, but probably need. We paid Smythe, and he's mostly a blocker, but I don't know. Probably Wilson to the practice squad too. But there's a lot of weapons, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have for once that we're that deep in a wide receiver room. I mean, I think whoever we put on the practice squad could get poached. Like, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, we probably lose a guy or 2 in this thing.
Yes, we do. So let's move to the running back room.
Yep.
I mean, we're really banged up at the running back room. We've got Monongwai hurt. We have Swift as our starter, but he's not going to play at all. There's no reason to put him out there and get hurt. You have Ian Wheeler trying to come back. So Chicago Clarence, you're always big on running backs and running game. What do you see out of this running back room?
Well, I mean, until they tell me that some of these people that's been not playing is due to a serious injury, I really think there's nothing to see here. Ian Wheeler,
yeah,
I liked Ian Wheeler last year, but I haven't liked what I saw out of him so far. He has not ran with the same hunger that he ran with last year. The guys always talk about that saying, you got to run like you're hungry. I ain't seen it out of him at all, and I think that that's probably a lot of it due to the injury that he had. He tore his ACL, and he sometimes seems to me like he's running not to get hurt, not lowering his shoulder, not running over people. That's what we saw out of him last year. I was really wanting him to make the team last year, but I think he's got his work cut out for him this year.
Mm-hmm.
I like what I saw out of the Brown dude. That dude ran with purpose. He was lowering his shoulder. He was running behind his pads. I mean, he was just gashing them.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like what I saw out of him. And, DeAndre Swift, we need a guy that's going to run downhill in this offense. DeAndre Swift is a shifty runner. He doesn't run between the tackles well. He wants to get out, bounce it outside, and run down the sideline. We need somebody that's going to run with purpose between the numbers.
So, Arthur, this running back room, who are you keeping? DeAndre Swift is in, but with Roshan banged up, I think they're going to keep Monongwai. I think they're going to keep Homer he brings special teams value. There could be only one spot open for a running back, really.
Yeah, I mean, this running back room is pretty
Hankins.
deep. But yeah, I'm with Clarence on Ian Wheeler. Like he has been a little bit disappointed, and it sucks though, because I mean that sucks coming off an injury like that, and he does look like he's a tad bit slower. Like you're right. It's like it seems like he is running not to get hurt. He's just a little bit slower. Even if you see like little practice clips, he's more faster when he's practicing than the actual game I saw. So. That sucks though. That I do feel like bad for him because I was cheering him on. I was still cheering him on this past Sunday too. I was happy he got his couple touchdowns and stuff like that. But I mean, this running back room is tough. I think Roshan Johnson got some battling to do for sure. I mean, Brown, that guy looked real good. Kyle Manung guy, I know we've seen a little bit. He's solid. I mean, he's not going nowhere, but I mean, Yeah, it's deep. It's deep. I definitely I need time to see this next game and see what's gonna happen because this running back room is deep. That Brown guy really opened my eyes. Like
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah, no
he
doubt. And
surprised me a lot. Like that changed my whole thought about the running
yeah,
back
me
room
too. I like
after seeing
what I
them.
saw out of him.
Yeah,
No doubt.
he was fighting and Swift. I like Swift, and I'm a nitpick Swift a little bit. And I've been noticing that I don't know how clear he sees the field sometimes. Because if you watch some of the play, like I watch the games after because my
Mhm.
emotions is not in it no more. So I rewatch the games, and sometimes Swift he doesn't see the gap sometimes. Like or he'll have an open field, he'll run straight into a defender. It's like, what do you? Okay, come on now, what we doing here? So. I like Swift. I think I'm gonna give him this under this offense to see what he's looking like. But yeah, I got to see a little bit more this season for him. But yeah, I mean, running back room is deep though. It's a lot of competition for sure. So
So,
Brown. Looking at Brown, I'm gonna be paying
Mhm.
attention to him this next week for sure.
so Todd, since you brought this up in our little pregame before we came on,
Yeah.
Brian Robinson is
Mhm.
reportedly on the market.
Yeah,
My answer is
well,
no. Would you consider?
they-
My answer is no. But would you consider making a move for him? Are you happy with the room we got?
your answer is no if he's cut, or your answer is no on a trade.
No, I don't want to give up anything to trade for a running back. I'd rather see how this pans out with the roster we got. And like I said, Swift to me is going to be the starter. Managwai we're keeping. Homer we're keeping. I mean, the last spot to me comes down to Roshan, Wheeler, Brown, Hankins.
I mean, if they're gonna list Roshan just as the short yardage back and the end zone back, and we haven't seen enough of him to know that's what we're speculating on what their plans on with him. As far as Wheeler, he was apprehensive on certain plays, but he ended up with a 4.2 average, 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I mean, Brown was 4.6 and 70, so the numbers are comparable, 1 touchdown versus 2. But he did tiptoe a few times when we were watching that and texting back and forth and stuff. There were plays where he could have been more aggressive without a doubt. I think some of that probably is coming off that injury and confidence. But speed is his game, so if he's not gonna show that, then he's in trouble. I think Roshan is probably in trouble. As far as Brian Robinson, I would do a 6, I would do a 7 and bring in Robinson. I don't think I would do a 5, maybe a 5 and a trade back, like a 5 and a set, get Robinson and a 7 back. But I'm interested in him. Swift is a 1-year player for us. I don't think that Johnson likes Swift. I don't think that Johnson likes Swift in Detroit. But, we're tied to the contract and we can get out next year. So I think they're looking to draft high and early as a running back. They were looking to draft high as a running back this year.
Yes.
He just got picked before we picked. So I think that's the plan. But yeah, I think Robinson would be second or third back on this room right now, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
Chicago Clubhouse Network said he give up a 7 in 2028 for Brian Robinson. Arthur or Clarence, would either of you trade for Brian Robinson?
No, I would not.
I don't think so. I wouldn't right now.
No,
I would do a 6. I would. It doesn't have to be a 7. I think they would take that. I mean, they held him out. They didn't play him, so they wanted him to get hurt. There's something going on there, and he's definitely going to be moved.
The only way that I would trade for him is just if our running back room and our running back depth got so bad that we had to have another back. And so far, I'm not hearing that. I think Roshan Johnson has been he hasn't really been given a fair opportunity in Chicago, in my opinion. They never actually put him out there to show him what he could do. And then when you turn around and you talk about putting him behind one of the worst offensive lines in God knows history, then it's really not fair to evaluate what you're getting from him. The only pause that I have is he seems to get banged up. How in God's name do you get hurt a lot? You don't play a lot. So what's going on? So that would be the big question that I would have. I agree with you on Swift. But I don't think the running back is something that we got to fix this year to where we start using capital to get another one. We can. I mean, and then if Brian Robinson was on this team right now, you know, okay, I can give you two, maybe third, guy in, but we got
Right.
4 or 5 backs. We don't have to get rid of Wheeler if we're looking
Mhm.
for somebody that's going to be, third string, fourth string. We can just keep
Well,
what we have, but to spend capital to get somebody else like him, now if it's Bijan Robinson or Kareem Williams or somebody like that, then talk to me. But
Yeah.
Brian Robinson, no, I mean he just doesn't, you know, he just doesn't excite me enough to spend capital to get him.
So
Yeah.
Chicago Clubhouse Network asked a question: is there a better running back going to be available on the market once cuts happen? And my answer is probably not. But I don't think none of us would trade for Brian Robinson.
We don't
I
have
think-
that problem.
no,
We don't have a running back problem.
I'm
really.
on record saying I would. Yes.
You would trade for Robinson?
Yeah, I would do a 6. I would do a 7 for sure. But
Todd's always got to be different.
yeah, well, look, I'm not impressed with this room. I mean, Wheeler hasn't proved anything. I like the kid. It was a good story and all that. I mean, Robinson has a 4.1 career average. He's ran for 2,300 yards, unlimited carries. He's under 200 all but 1 year, 187 last year. So, and he can catch the ball a little too. So for a third back, I think Mononga's 2. I mean, that's where we're at with it now. And then if we make that move, then Roshan is short yardage 4, and maybe you get away with the 4-back room with a couple guys on the practice squad if somebody goes down. But I don't know. Just he's played 3 years. He's had some success, and he had some injuries. He was shot the first year and missed 5 games, and still had decent numbers. So for a third back, he'd be all right.
So isn't our running back room just better because we have a real offensive line or a real play caller?
For sure.
Like, are we really, to me, I'm not worried about the running back room at all. I would go with the best 4 and call it a day. I would trust my coach to carry the best 4 and call it a day.
Yeah.
And if someone becomes available on the open market, that's an upgrade. Yes, I would definitely consider signing him. But I'm not going to trade capital for a running back.
He's not the feature back, but for a 6th round pick, it's okay.
But think about it this way, Todd. Think about it this way. If we're going to spend capital on something, then we need to be spending capital on the secondary. That's where we got issues at.
Yes.
I mean, them dudes are dropping like flies. So if we're going to go out there and trade for a position, it should be in the secondary. So that position group worries me.
Todd's got a fan. Todd has a fan. Usually it's Clarence that gets called out. Todd is selling me on B-Rob.
Yeah.
I'm with Clarence though, because I mean I know Roshan, he gets banged up, but he hasn't had a fair chance either to actually prove what he got. Because I mean he is a hard runner. Oh, we see some flashes that he had. He is a hard runner, and he hasn't been able to prove that with a nice offense. Now we got a nice interior. I think Roshan can be somebody,
So,
and I just don't think our running back room is not an issue. I mean, we still don't even know who our left tackle is going to be.
It's not an issue, but if you look at this running back room now, how many's there next year out of this group that we have now? How many running backs are there?
I don't think any. Swift is not going to be.
Mononga.
He's probably the only
We have
one.
one guy that's making the team next year, so
Yeah.
it'd be a good depth piece that has some experience. But again, he's on the last year of his deal, Robinson. So, but he's not going to bring much money. That's not going to be a factor.
So Arthur just brought up the offensive line. So
Mhm.
guys, who's making this team? It seems like Braxton Jones, who Clarence loves, trust me, is our left tackle. For better or for worse, he's our left tackle. To me, they would not have started him if he's not our left tackle.
But I think Braxton Jones is gonna have that left tackle job. Benedict had a good game, but I do think they're gonna start Braxton Jones. I mean, I see it happening. Trapillo, he did all right, but Braxton, he's holding on to that. Yeah.
I'm disappointed with Trapillo.
Yeah.
Like, we all thought he was going to take that spot. Apparently, he can't did not excel at left tackle like he does at right tackle.
Yeah. And Braxton Jones not bad. He's an average left tackle. I mean,
That's what he is. Arthur's right. That's what he grades out to be, is an average left tackle.
Right.
But he's gonna get. I will say this though, he is gonna get the job
franchise.
done. He's gonna get the job done.
So my real question is, we have 5 tackles on our roster right now.
Right.
I don't see us carrying 5 tackles. We might carry 3. So who's not making his team at tackle?
So wait. How so that's been the question of the day, you know, whether it's 9 or 10 guys from the offensive line. I think it has to be 10 in our current situation because we have a surplus of developmental tackles and there's a little bit of so we need to know which one of those guys can kick into guard in a pinch, right? Because that's the problem. You know, you'd like to try to keep 9 guys and save a spot for somebody else there, you know, from another position group. That's just my thinking. But anyway. Go ahead, Andy.
So I'll let Chicago Clarence take this one. I know he's not a Braxton Jones fan, but he is going to be the starter. I see no reason that we don't use him as the starter and we play him.
I'm not going for him being the starter, but I don't see. If he's not going to be the starter, you shouldn't have started him in both preseason games. That makes no sense to give the starting job to Theo Benedette or to Trapillo and let him start both preseason games. So to me, Braxton Jones is going to be our left tackle. Yeah. Chicago Clarence, thoughts on the offensive line?
You know, when they drafted Trapillo, you guys know how I love to remind y'all when I'm right. But I criticized that draft pick.
Yeah.
Because the thought was we're going to draft Trapillo and take Darnell Wright and move him to left tackle. And I was not high on that. You know, my thought process is if you got a problem area, then you draft somebody who's used to playing in that area to fix it. And I am so disappointed that Benedict or Trapillo or Armagadi almost always hurt, could not step in and take that position away from the human motion detector, because that's what Braxton Jones is. He ain't nothing but a walking turnstile, and you just give you a pass straight to your quarterback. I don't care what PFF says about him. You know, he is a average left tackle. And in a contract year where these guys are looking to get paid, you think I'm going to sit there and throw money at him and ask him to stay on my team when I got my franchise quarterback, whom we're going to be paying $65 million a year to in the very near future, and we can't protect him? We done made all of these different moves, but we refuse to go out there and firmly address the left tackle position, which is going to be the position, other than edge rusher, that's going to keep us from being a viable playoff football team. And if you're not looking to make the playoffs and actually move and advance, then what are we doing? This season is a waste because you've wasted our time. You've wasted your efforts because you went out there, you spent money on the left guard position, you spent money on the center position, you drafted to give Caleb Williams more weapons because then you're saying that his protection has been fixed. And you did not address the left tackle, which is what I've been screaming for months. Yeah. And now you're going to go into the season and you want the Chicago Bears fans to buy and drink the Kool-Aid that this team is going to be viable and Braxton Jones is your starting left tackle? Hell no. You know, I'm not buying it.
No. So, Arthur, you have your first day on the show. You have a fan, too. Sean Starks, I agree with Arthur Williams. So, Todd got called out today and Arthur did. So, Arthur, let me ask you, like I agree with everything you guys are saying about Braxton Jones. He grades out to be an average left tackle. That's what he is. That's what he grades out to be. But we saw Ben Johnson really, if this is our play plan, our scheme, get the ball out quick, we can mask a weak left tackle. Like he masked it well Sunday night. Like you didn't really notice that Braxton Jones is just an average left tackle the way that ball was coming out. So, Arthur, what do you think of the scheme that we saw Sunday night? If it's going to be like that, I think we'll be okay. So our line held up everywhere for the most part.
The scheme can get so far.
Yeah.
You know, with that left tackle. Because having those, when you have the outside and you don't have the outside block like that, I mean, if you look at last year with when we played against the Colts, Braxton was getting towed up by Deo.
Yeah.
He was getting run over by Deo. So and having him and not being able to cover that edge is going to show a lot to the offensive line because that edge is a very important position. If Braxton Jones is getting beat, it's going to be kind of hard to. That scheme is going to be kind of hard to hold up, especially when we're in the real season and you're going against the Vikings defense. You know, Flores over there. He the defense that stalls, things like that. You know, and Caleb don't have that protection on that left side. It's going to be rough. It's going to be hard. It's not easy. You know, you can scheme all day. There's so many ways you can move your formation, your offensive line. So the defense gonna pick up on that. The defensive coordinator is gonna pick up on that with good teams. So and we got a rough schedule. You know, we got the Bengals, we got the 49ers, we got Baltimore, you know, going against Super Bowl contenders. So that left tackle is, I've been saying it too. Not having that left tackle is going to be the death of the Bears for sure.
Look at the D lines we got to go up against. I mean, you know,
Oh.
we got to go up against Cleveland. We got to play Myles Garrett. We got to go against Pittsburgh. We got to go against the Eagles front line. We got to go up against Baltimore's front line. The New York Giants has a good front line with Brian Burns and those characters and Abdul Carter. You know, so don't sit there and tell me that, you know, we're on the up and coming team and we on the outside looking in for us going in the playoffs when we got to go up against people like that with a marginal left tackle.
No,
and Andy, you made the comment about how well he held up the other night. Well, look at the competition he was going up against.
No, I agree. I agree.
My mama could block him. For God's sake.
So Todd, left tackle. I mean, I think the difference between last year and this year is we saw what Matt Eberflus did the first time we started. Oh my gotcha. Gave that kid no help. I feel like Ben Johnson will at least move a tight end over there or a fullback, even though we don't carry one this year. He will move somebody over there if he sees Braxton Jones getting his ass beat regularly. Don't you think so, Todd?
Yeah, no, I was trying to cut Durham Smythe about 20 minutes ago, and now I need him over there next to Braxton. So there you go. I think, you know, beyond that, experience wise, it's obvious. It seems obvious that Braxton's going to start. Now but we have a bigger problem because he's in a contract year too, and it should improve his play because he's in a contract year because that tends to be the way that it always works out. But we have to develop one of those other guys.
Yes, we do.
And ideally it's Ozzie, and maybe halfway through the season, there's a, you know, and depending on our record and needs and things, there's a world where we could deal Braxton if Ozzie can develop. I think that just has to be the thing. He's going to have to develop at left tackle. I mean, Karan is the other guy, but he seems so far away from it. I mean, and maybe Benedict takes it. Maybe I'm wrong, but we have serious draft stock in Ozzie as a second and in Amagaji as a third that has to develop. And I think that this coaching staff, you know, can do that more so than any we've had in a long time. So I think the long-term answer is probably Trapillo, but I think we start the season with Braxton, and maybe by the deadline we can move Braxton. So just my thoughts.
So guys, let's talk about the defense. We spend all of our time on the offense. So defensively, we got Sweat on one edge. We're gonna have Deo. We're gonna have Jarrett or Billings in the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, is this enough? Because now we have injuries with Booker and Dominic Robinson. You think we need to do more, or is this enough?
It's still that edge. I mean, Booker's shown good stuff. He's shown good stuff in the preseason, but you know, like we playing against some tough, some top O lines, and we got to see him, you know, progress. You know, I got to see a little bit more of him when the season starts. Hopefully, his injury you won't stop him from playing week 1, but which I don't understand why they put him at special teams. That was just weird. But I like the defense overall. I think the defense is gonna be fun to watch. I hope we stay healthy in the secondary because DA like to go man. because we're gonna definitely need that secondary. I see Jalen Johnson was working out, so
That's good.
hopefully we get him playing week 1, and then Addison is not playing, so that give us, you know, a one level up on them. But yeah, I mean, the defense looking good. I like it. I'm excited about it. We just got to stay healthy in that secondary because it's going to be really important.
Chicago, Clarence, I'll kick it to you because I know you're a big edge guy and defensive line guy and defensive tackle. Do we have enough? Did we do enough? Are you worried about our injuries with Booker and Robinson, who I think Robinson's on the bubble? I don't think not playing helps him at all. But Chicago, Clarence?
Well, anytime you're not given a helmet on game day, that's a problem. And you're not injured, that's a problem. So you ask me, is that enough? No, I've been saying it for months, it's not enough. It depends on what your thought process for this season is. You know, if you're in the rebuilding mode, which I don't believe we are, then this can't be enough for your thinking that we're going to go in the season. We need another edge rusher. It's been proven. We need another edge rusher. Now, did we do enough to help our run defense? Putting Jared in there absolutely does help our run defense. You know, but we need another guy that can go get the quarterback. Plain and simple. And we're going to go up against offense in our own division to where we have got to speed the quarterback's clock up. Or we're going to allow him to sit back there and just tear us apart. And what's the strongest part of our defense, fellas? Our secondary. Where do we got all the injuries at right now, fellas? Our secondary. So it's imperative that we get somebody, and I don't care how we do it, but we need to go get somebody else on this football team that is a proven resume at rushing the quarterback. You gave Adebayo a bunch of money. He had better be the guy. I have my doubts, but he had better be the guy because you paid him as such. Now, what I do right now, I will call the Cincinnati Bengals. I will offer them a second-round draft pick and a future third. And if I had to throw in Booker, I would to get Hendrickson on this team.
Yes.
Plain and simple.
Yes.
Because that's what you need. We can take around, we can restructure contracts to pay him. But if your goal is to win the Super Bowl, which all 32 teams should start the season off with that goal, then you have got to address the edge rushing position. Because you already ain't drafted the other weakness on the team, which is the left tackle. We got to be able to go get the quarterback, fellas.
Yeah.
Or we're going to have some long days on third down.
Todd, you're the trade expert, Trey Henderson's. I wish I knew what he wanted. I wish I knew for concrete what he wanted.
Oh, he wants $40 million. That's what those other guys got. That's what he wants. I mean, I'm not paying him that. I think you can justify about 32, 33. I don't know that does it with him. They're asking for a first and a young defensive player. I'm not interested in that at all. You know, I guess there's a scenario where you could go, if we didn't have the injuries in the secondary, where we could come back with a second and Stevenson and maybe, right? But we have too many injuries right now to do that. But I think that there's probably some more Super Bowl ready teams that may offer first, because, you know, our first falls anywhere from 14 to 25, depending on how confident we are, you know. And that's a big ask. But if you're a team that's, if you're the Lions and your first might be 28, 29, 30, maybe you make that deal. So I don't think we're going to get him. But and he's 30, man. I don't know. And I don't want to pay him $40 million. I think I might would do, you know, a second, and if they had to be a defensive lineman, I mean, maybe I don't think I would do Booker, you know, and I don't think they would take Hardy. I would do Hardy, but I don't like it. I
would assume they would want at least a starting caliber defensive end in return.
And I just think,
but the framework for the extension is already on the table. The problem is the guaranteed money he's wanting.
Right.
The framework for his deal was already agreed to, and it wasn't $40 million. They just don't want to give him more guaranteed money, which is at the time for our situation, we should absolutely do it, because that's a move that we need to make that's keeping us from being a viable playoff team. I mean, look at the offenses that we got in our division. Look at the offenses we got to face on our schedule this year.
No, I know. We have the schedule's terrible. I mean, that does. I mean, it's terrible. That leads to us potentially not making the playoffs and having.
I'm not giving them a first. If we can do it, giving up a second. If we can do it, giving up a second, I will do that in a heartbeat. But I'm not giving them a first, second all day.
I mean, what are you going to guarantee? You're going to guarantee 3 years on this thing? What are you going to do? I mean, if it's 35, you're at 4 years, 140. Are you going to do half, or are you going to do 75% of it? Because he's going to be 33 years old, man.
You can do 65% of it, because guess what? His contract comes off the books in 3 years, and that's when you got to pay Caleb. You don't want to age your defensive end on your contract when you got to pay your quarterback. That's the reason why it's got to be 3, and you give the money up front.
Yeah.
Arthur, Arthur, would you give up a first for him?
No, not a first. Not a first. Not a first. No. I'm with Clarence on the second. But I think the Bears should definitely be eyeing out for him. That's for sure. I mean, that's like, we need that position. We need an edge. We have to. Booker had a good preseason, but he's not a starting edge.
Last year he had a great preseason last year and couldn't deliver.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping
that's the reason why I'm willing to give him up.
I'll give up Booker too.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up Booker. Hardy had the good preseason last year. I don't know that he's more than a special team or a situational guy, but I think that Booker could be a third down specialist and could be a starter next year. I really, and you got to give that kid more than one. He's gained weight, but
he's very light.
And I think that they're gonna,
he's fast as hell, no question about that.
We're talking about scheming on offense. We got to scheme on defense to get pressure up the middle anyway. That's that's where the other teams, there's some weak guard teams that we should be able to shove somebody. If it's Dexter or whoever, Deo, ship him inside, play 5 guys on the line, and look, we've already seen more blitzes, in preseason than we saw all last year. If there's going to be some brisker secondary sacks, just because that's what's going to happen. I mean, they're aggressive.
Yeah. So, guys, let's talk about the secondary quick, because we have about 12 minutes left.
Yeah.
Are you guys worried about our secondary? We got Jalen Johnson out. Gordon is out. Terrell Smith. Everybody thinks it's a knee. He's done for the year.
I think so.
I was looking at their depth chart. They have like 2 pages of players now in the secondary. We could be in deep trouble in the secondary. We were talking about Wright. Nashawn Wright, he might be number 4 now, or he might be number 3 or 2, depending if any of these guys can come back.
Wright been kind of quiet though. He was a talk in training camp, but he's been pretty quiet so far. But our secondary is beat up right now, and it's too close. It's too close to the season for our secondary to be beat up, and secondary is going to definitely be important. Like I said, for Dennis Allen's defense, it's. Not worried yet. There's still time, and Jalen Johnson was out there warming up, so that's good news. But it's got to get healthy for sure.
Chicago Clarence, are you worried about our secondary yet? And we don't know.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it yet. Briscoe played though.
Did he?
Yeah, Briscoe played. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. His corner's more than safety, no doubt. I'm not worried about it at the moment. I think that Gordon is a precaution. I think he's banged up, but I don't think that if the season was this Sunday, Gordon couldn't play. JJ's a different story, but I don't think that we're in DEFCON 3 mode yet. It's a concern, but that's the reason why you shouldn't play these guys. You get the future Walmart door greeters and salesmen to play, and let our guys sit on the sideline and with a cap on.
So that is what our injury report looks like on ESPN. As you can see, they don't have much listed and no real detail. This will be for the game Friday night against Kansas City. So, Todd.
But see, this is the thing. When you see questionable, Andy.
Yeah.
When you see questionable, that gives you pause.
It does.
Questionable just means that there's a chance you could play.
Yeah.
You know, if it was out, then that would be a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Like Terrell Smith, to me, he shouldn't even be questionable.
Right.
Well, I mean, they haven't gotten the results of the MRI yet.
I
don't think
they
so. I
have.
haven't heard anything.
They're in this period where they don't have to divulge too much information,
No.
and they don't.
Yeah.
And they don't. They don't.
Today. I learned something today when I was looking at the injury report. I looked on the Chicago Bears website, and it says you don't have to report injuries until week 1, regular season.
Yep.
I did not know that. So,
Yeah.
Todd, Friday night we have
Yes,
Kansas
sir.
City. Would you play any of our starters?
Not very much.
Would you play any of them at all?
I mean, I would. I mean, we don't the left tackle thing. You know, we mess around with that a little bit. I wouldn't play. I don't know that I'd play another offensive lineman other than Braxton as potentially a starter. I understand if they play Caleb a series, but I'm not sure I would. So I probably wouldn't.
Arthur, would you play any of our starters Friday night against Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, I'll play, you know, even if it's just a couple snaps, you know, just a couple snaps and just, you know, get the feel of it. Who knows? They might throw Patrick out there and maybe not, you know. I mean, he was geared up last week, but, you know, I think so. And definitely, like, I would like to see that. Like I said, I still got to see that left tackle. I still got to see, I got to see a little bit more. I mean, I got to see some type of progress, something, you know. But the left tackle don't look good. But yeah, I would.
Chicago Clarence, would you play anybody Friday night against Kansas City?
I'm giving the offense a series, and then they're watching the rest of the game off the bench.
Yeah.
I'm not sending nobody on. I'm not sending no defensive starters out there, none whatsoever.
No, yeah.
All we need is a major injury to Sweat or somebody of that magnitude, and they really
That
puts
would
us
be-
in serious depth. You
that
know,
would
we
be
don't
a
need
disaster.
we don't need Sweat and those guys, man. What are they proving? So what are they going to be out there for? That's the reason why I hate preseason.
Yeah. Now everybody understands the argument about whether to play or not play, how much credence you put on the practices and the scrimmages,
Right.
inter squad practices. So, guys, let's head to our final thoughts. So, Todd, I'll kick it to you first. What are your final thoughts about our Chicago Bears? Anything?
We beat this drum, but just this coaching staff and these receivers blocking and everybody doing their job. And today he said the most important thing he saw was, you know, all the plays they lined up and they were in the right formation with 10 seconds left, or some even 15 seconds left. Everybody was where they were supposed to be. Like the stick, just he's a stickler for all that stuff. And I'm just, you know, who shined in that last game? Yeah, a few players did, but Ben Johnson did. He was the guy that shined during that game, without a doubt.
So, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments. Arthur, thank you for joining us. I think you did very well. I'm sure we're going to invite you back. So my final thoughts, as always, just like us, subscribe to us, follow us. You can find us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. I'm just ready for the season. I'm ready to take the gloves off, and I'm ready to go. Like, I have no interest in watching the game Friday night. It's not even going to be on TV for us to watch. I just looked at it before we came on. I'm just ready to go, and I don't need any more injuries Friday night to anybody. I don't care if it's second string, third string practice squad. So, Arthur, let me kick it to you. What are your final thoughts on our Chicago Bears?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be an emotional season probably, but I think it should be a fun season. You know, I think it's the start of something. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it.
You're right.
Definitely excited about the season coming. But you know, like I said, I took a little sip of the Kool-Aid, but that's about it.
So, last but not least, the bad guy, Chicago Clarence. You happy, sad, need blood pressure medication, going to the doctor? How you feeling?
Well, I made sure that my doctor gave me a standing prescription for blood pressure meds. But I'm just going into this season like I have steady saying that it's playoffs a bust for this team, and I'm not bouncing off of that. I'm not backing down from that whatsoever. We went out and spent money like we were trying to make it to the playoffs, and that's exactly what my expectations are. And now there are opportunities out for us to make some more moves to even help us even achieve that goal. And I think that we must make them if we're serious about putting a winning football product on the field. I think that we have established that we're trying to go for a winning culture. You don't pay a head coach $13 million a year just to come in here and just hold things together. We haven't even touched this. But what in the hell is taking so long with this daggone stadium? What's going
Oh
on?
man.
They asked him during the broadcast how that's going, and we don't seem like we're any closer to getting this deal done than we were 3, 4, 5 months ago. What is taking so long? Do you mean to tell us Bear fans that you entered in an agreement to buy property and you didn't even get the taxes and all that stuff worked out yet? Is that what's holding it up? Because this makes absolutely no sense. Only the Chicago Bears would do this. I mean, it's maddening that we got to play in that roach-infested stadium, the oldest
my
stadium
God.
in the daggone league,
Oh my God.
you know, and we don't even have a plan. We don't even have a plan. Don't even get me started that we still making payments on the remodeling that we did 15 years ago. For God's sake.
Cleveland Browns got a better stadium than us. That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. I mean, come on, guys. Let's get the job. Let's get the deal done, for God's sake. Let's get it done and break ground. Stop it with all of this stuff. What are you waiting on?
Yes.
Act like you're a professional football team. Act like it.
So, with that, I just want to say, Latrice Ward said, "Great to see you, son." Whose mother is? Oh, it must be Arthur.
Yeah,
That's what I was figuring.
Right.
I was figuring it was for Arthur. So with that, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the feedbacks, for the comments. Arthur, again, thank you for joining us. Until next time, everyone. Peace. Bear down.
Bear down.